What's happening, team? I hope this message finds everybody well. Today's episode, quick episode about the little brief around where me and Mr. Bradley Foster are doing the Chase the Sun race, which is across Scotland from Newcastle. You head into Scotland then all the way through to Ayr. 320k, I think it's 204 miles. Sorry, I don't work in miles. I've lived in Asia too long. And over 10,000 feet of elevation. The same premise applies in relation to understanding the course, understanding the fuel, understanding the hydration strategies, and actually understanding the sort of navigation, because it's a self-assisted race. There's no, like Fred Whitten that we did was all marked roads, and they had people out telling us where to go. Chase the Sun's a little bit different. Chase the Sun is literally, you leave at 4 a.m. between 3:45 and 4:20. Our time is on Saturday morning. And it's literally chasing the sun from sunrise to sunset. You have to get across the whole width of Scotland. And, the premise of it is obviously, it's more the undulations. It's a little, obviously Fred Whitten had the same elevation as Base Camp Everest, but it was obviously a lot more condensed, over 180k. And the sort of the climbs were a lot more severe. The Chase the Sun, I think off the top of my head, has 5 key pieces that are built around elevation, anywhere between 200 to 450-ish meters of each of them. But it's a very different ball game. It's a lot longer event. The Fred Whitten took 9 hours. This will take between 12 to 16 hours. So big pieces to understand if you're doing the race or you're thinking about doing it. If you're watching this now, you're thinking about doing it next year. This is what we've done. Number one thing is kit. If you haven't got your kit and you haven't got, like an example, we bought a front bag for the bikes. It's self-assisted. So we need to carry as much nutrition as possible. I'll be going through 90 to 100 grams, 120 grams of carbs per hour. What that looks like is 3 gels and some sweets every single hour for 12 to 16 hours. So what I've got Precision Hydration gel packs, which are 90 grams each. I've got 10 of those. I've got the chews, which again, they're more condensed. Some people are like, I just use Haribo. The issue with that is you have to have the volume of food. 2 sweets, 30 grams of carbs, and also salt tabs, hydration mix, and carb mix as well. So that's the base staple. And we're then going to be, the ladies will be driving and the dogs across, meeting us at 2 rendezvous points where we'll refuel. I'll be having Cliff Bars on the route too. So the point is that you need to be continually eating, and you need to know your body. Between 500 milliliters, and a liter of water an hour. Next thing to think about is actually how you're going to store this and what you're thinking about the day. Obviously in the morning it's going to be colder, so I've got arm sleeves, but I'm still going to go in shorts because Scotland's actually going to be sunny for once apparently. So we'll see. And the stereotype things to have are hat, gloves, glasses, a jersey with pockets, a rain jacket if you've got one, just in case, because as I said, with Scotland, you never know. And that's mainly the pieces of kit. On the bike, obviously, you have to have your puncture repair kits, which you should have already. You should have some form of storage. I've got 2 1-litre bottles, and I've got a front bag on the front. It looks like a bit like a Mary Poppins bag. It's not. It's only little. It's only this big. But that's where it's going to house all my nutrition. So I'd strongly recommend is keeping that on your person. I have seen people use backpacks before, but the issue is I've got no. My shoulder mobility is terrible from rugby, so getting my arm in and getting to a bag, or it only just can get to the pockets in the back of a cycling jersey. And last thing to have, obvious thing, you can be old school, and some people use their phones and stuff. Battery will go. I've just got a Garmin. If you use a Wahoo or whatever, the GPX file. There's rendezvous points that we have to hit. But anyway, the point is that follow the Elevate Road. But from a standpoint of knowing what you're doing when it's self-assisted, this is where you have to actually box clever. This sounds really stupid, but because there's so much time in the saddle, knowing when you're going to step off, knowing when you're going to, whether you're going to take some extra spare clothes if you are meeting somebody, or even guys and ladies, let's not beat around the bush. Chamois cream, this is going to literally test your chamois cream position because 16 hours in that seat is going to, we'll leave it at that one. It's going to be sore. That's the key thing. So if you are competing in this race, or you're thinking about doing it next year, or you're thinking about the sort of, how do I get ready for this race? When you're training, volume is king. When we look at it, again, it depends on how long this is where I can't give you the magic secret of programming, because it depends on how long you've been training for, training age, what you do, when you do it, etc. base principles. You need to build a huge base, and a huge base is your zone 2, boring, long and strong. Nothing will beat getting on the road. It doesn't matter what stationary bike that you have. 2, you need to do hill work, and hill work is more than a minute. You need to be doing like 10-minute repeats up a hill. Luckily, I live in the Peak District, so it's extremely easy. It's everywhere is hilly. And lastly is periodizing it, so you're either working on what you're actually working on. But volume, nothing. You should never, ever train to a 16-hour race in relation to doing that level of volume. What you should be doing is getting fitter, faster, and stronger over a shorter distance. Usually, I mean, the longest ride we've done is 180k, so 5 hours 20, I think it was. That was the longest ride that we did. But knowing how I felt after that, I now am adjusting my positioning and adjusting what I'm doing because of that, because I've done the exposure. So you have to train into this. It's not just a normal venture. I hope that's very, very helpful. That's what we're going to be doing. That's how we're going to attack it. I'll be able to send you a video about this next week. You'll be able to see, we'll put it up on Instagram of what we're doing and sort of the prep leading into it. Obviously, it starts early morning as well. So what I'll do is I'll put out how, I've done this before, but I'll do it again. I'll show you how I'm actually going to prepare for the race on the day, i.e. getting up at 2 a.m, what we're going to be eating, etc. I'll get that, that'll be over my Instagram channel, and we'll try and put some of this on YouTube too. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. You take care, and I'll catch you soon.